Good morning and welcome back to We Are the South Stand. Happy Easter Monday. I hope everyone is good. I hope everyone's got lots of eggs, had good quality time with your family. If you've got a little one, even more so. I am seeing my daughter after this show. Going over to my mother's. And then football, back to football tomorrow. Now, Big Steve is going to be joining us at some point. We did start at 10:30, but I've decided I need to start half hour early because I have to go on another show after this. Sorry, before I go and see my daughter. So thought I would start early and Steve will jump in when he's here. So let's get these likes up nice and early, please. 21 likes already. If you're watching it on playback, please also make sure you are liking the button. Your likes are equally as important. In fact, possibly even more so. You know, the like button really helps us as a channel. We're a new channel, growing channel. The more likes we get, the more YouTube thinks you lot like it, and the more it pushes it out to other Manchester City fans. We don't really want anyone but Manchester City fans in here. And I'm joined by the big man already. Let me. So we need to change that one, I believe. Hello, mate.
Morning. You okay?
Yeah, not bad. You?
Yeah, not bad. Just woke
Good
up.
Easter? You just woke
up? Yeah, just tired. But
no, use this one.
No, yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Get up too much? Been anywhere nice?
No, not really. Just chilling out, just fucking doing the odd jobs and that. And my son's had a few gigs, so I've been going to them. And other than that, yeah, it's been all right.
Do you know what? That's something I never actually speak about with you. I can't imagine you doing odd jobs around the house.
Well, listen, the way I
you're
see
the
it,
same as me.
Listen, the way I see it is, if I can do it, I'll do it. But if it's a professional job, I ain't gonna fuck my house up. I'll just pay someone to do it. So my mate's a joiner. Yeah, he puts all my pictures up. He puts all the fucking cabinets up. He does everything because it's easy for me to pay him a day's work to just come and do everything, rather than me sit there with a fucking butter knife and try and build a cabinet from IKEA or something. You know what I mean? Which we've all done. So,
Mate,
yeah.
Do you know what? That is actually, and now it's Easter. I did that in when I bought my first flat, right? And my ex moved in, and it was at Easter. I remember it was at Easter bank holiday. I went and bought fucking 2 fuck-off wardrobes from IKEA with loads of different compartments and everything. It took me the whole 4 days to build them, yeah. And I know I didn't build them brilliantly. And that flat was after that flat. I was like, I'm never doing none of this handiwork myself again, because that's not my trade. It's not what I do. And like, if you do it, you just sit there looking at shelves that are wonky and that, thinking, fuck's sake, what have I done?
I've got OCD. So if I see anything that's not level or anything, like, it's a fucking nightmare. And it's like, this is how bad it is. I bought a new telly for the living room, a big one. Like, I thought, right, that'll do me. I've got my telly in the living room. It's sweet. And then I have my man cave, don't I? And now I watch the football in the living room. If I go from the living room to the man cave, it does me head in because the telly's smaller in the man cave. So then I went out the other day.
You are in the man cave, yeah.
I bought it. It's coming today. So now I've had to buy another telly for the man cave, the same size as the living room. She thinks I'm bonkers, but I can't go from like fucking 90-inch in the living room to 60 in the man cave. So
I was waiting for you to say that you went and bought one that's even bigger in the man cave, and then that's going to mean that you have to go and buy a bigger one.
No, I'm just literally like, it's just one of them things. But yeah, it's fucking daft. But hey, it is what it is.
So obviously, before we move on to, there's a few things to talk about. I've just actually seen, apparently O'Reilly's come out this morning. O'Reilly's been offered a new deal. Don't know if you've seen that.
I don't know, but he has seen, he has signed a contract not long ago, so he'll get a new deal because he's playing first team, so he's going to get improved terms. Yeah. I mean, he's a player that I spoke about a long, long time ago, even when we did City TV pre-season a couple of years back. They said the player to watch out for. I mentioned him. I watched him against Charlie in a pre-season friendly. And he's a humble guy. I mean, I message him after most games just to say, well done, keep going. Always messages me back straight away. Thank you, Steve. I can't believe it and that. And he's a humble kid. But
Yeah,
he's not even a left back. He's not a left back. And I thought when he started playing left back, I thought, oh God, I hope this doesn't ruin him. I hope he don't get the ump and want to go, because Chelsea were definitely in for him. That was a true. They wanted him, and I think there's a lot of clubs that circle Manchester City now because they know that A, not everybody can play, and B, people that are playing are probably not playing in the position they want to play, so they can tap them up. But you seen him on Saturday when he scored. He kissed the badge, which is always a good sign that he's happy. And like you say, I think next season, if he gets a chance to play in midfield, I think he'll do all right. So I'm excited by it. We've got to get him tied down, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Do you know? Before we move on to this, it does look like there is some news. I was speaking about this yesterday with the whole Nico O'Reilly thing, and kind of Martin and it's Patrick and Alan, the Aussie guys, were saying that they thought he really shone in pre-season. And I said I didn't see it as much. I wasn't saying he was having a bad pre-season, but I said I didn't see it as much. But we were playing him as a defensive midfielder in pre-season, right? And I just feel like Pep allows his fullbacks to go forward far more than he does, and that's why it probably is working for him, because he's and that first goal against Everton was just it was on the front post.
It was intelligent play by him, though. If you watch the goal again, he can see the gap, so he's anticipated the play. He's thought, if Nunes whips this in their post here, I'll get in front of the defender, bang, and that's a sign of a very intelligent player for me. And he did it, and he's a techie player, you know what I mean. But we've got a youth team full of them. It's just having the time and the patience to get them in. You can't always throw these kids in at Manchester City, because if you do and you lose a couple of games, then your title's over. You know what I mean? This is why this season, this pre-season out in the World Club Cup, I know it's a big tournament. We've got to win it for the money, but I'd be blooding a few youngsters. This is why Echeverri, I think, he's being kept under wraps. Every time I see a training picture of the winning team, he's on it. So he must be doing something right. But,
I just see City as well have just, I think, posted an interview with him or something on their website. So they're keeping him. This is the thing. I think you said this the other week on a show, that when people are thinking that we might loan him out and whatever, City seems to be, they're keeping him at the front. Like, if they were going to loan him out, I don't think they'd be giving him all this kind of time on their channel and whatever else. I can't see it, me. I think we are.
The shop in the Arndale Centre's full of his shirts. So I think he's. They're keeping him under wraps. I think they're keeping him under wraps. I think that what they're doing is they're making him learn the patterns of play and the training, and they're giving him a good solid 3 or 4 month training with the team, so he's ready. You can't just come from River Plate and expect to slide into Manchester City's number 10 role, because it's a really important role. That's like buying a DM. Like Nico Gonzalez has come, and even he's not been starting every week because he's still not where we need him to be with the patterns of play. But this kid has got it. I just think, why not just leave him? He might maybe gets a run out Fulham away last game of the season just to give us a taster or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see that. I'm just going to try and share it. No, that don't work. Hold on, which one was I on? God, I've lost it now. Jesus, where are we gone? Where's the bloody overlays gone? I want to share something with you. That was it, I think. Yeah. In fact, I'll share it over us. Do I share screen? Present. Share screen. There we go. That'll do. Don't know where it's going to come up. There we go. Don't know if you've seen this. Just come out on City Extra. So first it says, Man City have told Bernardo Silva that he's not part of their plans beyond this season, and the 30-year-old has expressed a desire to return to Portugal this summer, which I think we expected. Benfica are ready to find an agreement with City for Bernardo Silva this summer, with George Mendes planning an agreement on terms. So, how do you feel about
that? On the back of this season, I think it's probably the right move. We know he's gone. The thing is with Bernardo Silva, right? We can't forget what he's done for the club, because he's been fantastic. But I think when he first came to the club, he was such an exciting number 10 style, number 8 style midfielder with a lot of tech about him. You know what I mean? And I feel like Pep has turned him into a machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at him now; he's just basically a workhorse. He's playing out on the wing, which is not his position, and his job is basically to hold the ball up, keep the ball moving, give us a bit of energy and pace. That Bernardo Silva of coming in the middle of the park and, you know, dictating play and scoring good goals and stuff, it just seems a mile away from that player. So I feel like he'll probably go to Benfica, get a rejuvenated boost, and you know, have a great end to his career. But I feel like it is time. You know, there's a lot of these players that we're gonna find out this season are gonna go. And like you say, I don't think, you know, anyone's going to be banging on the door to keep him. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. Do you know what? He's one of my it's been one of my favourite City players over the years for everything he's done for us. But this season, the more I've watched him, I've wanted to defend him, but it's got to a point where I think, you're spot on. At times, it's just, you know, the frustration with Pep football, where it's side to side, it's like and backward passing at times. I feel
frustration that weekend, mate.
Yeah,
80 minutes at Everton, everyone was moaning like fuck in the stands, moaning.
Yeah,
because you could see it. It was a derby again. It was City keeping hold of the ball. We didn't have any really cut or anything. We weren't doing anything that, you know, was outstanding. And all of a sudden, he brings Doku on and Kovacic. Kovacic, you know, I think has had a really good season for me. I think he drives us forward into gaps and spaces that other players don't. Gundogan's first touch is more or less backwards or sideways.
Yeah.
Same with Nico now. Gonzalez, sideways and backwards. Bring Kovacic on, he'll push it into that little space. He's not got the pace anymore, but he gets in there. And Doku, the fullback O'Brien, 6 foot fullback, you know, he's waiting to be roasted. Savinho never really had a go at him. Doku, first touch, fucking wallet, right past him. Let's have it. Straight away on the back foot then. It's a different dimension. You could see Everton panic. And like you say, we did all right. But the football...
I agree on Kovacic, you know. I agree on Kovacic. I feel at times this season Kovacic has been, I mean, a lot of what people refer to as the unks of Man City, but me and Patrick were saying we're older than them, so they're kind of more like our nephews. But they I think Kovacic is one that does get a lot of he's almost like the scapegoat, probably because with the others we've got the treble season to go back to, whereas with Kovacic I sometimes feel, and you're right, that's one of his best parts of Kovacic's game is his driving with the ball. And I think,
so good at that because he picks the ball up slow. And you think, right, what's he going to do? And then he'll see a gap and he'll push the ball into that gap. And next minute, we're on the front foot. We missed that so much. We haven't got that player like a Yaya Toure. I'm not comparing him to Yaya Toure. I'm not. But we haven't got a player like that can drive from midfield. You know, Kevin De Bruyne 2 years ago driving from midfield. At the minute now, midfield is packed every game. Yeah. People trying to stop us playing football. Pep either goes with a width, and then we end up seeing a lot of the ball at Savinho and Doku, but it doesn't come to anything, or he doesn't go with a width, and we see it all in midfield, and it's all side to side backwards. I think one shining light in all of this at the minute is the centre-back partnership of Ruben Diaz and Josko Gvardiol. I feel like that partnership has been brewing for a few years. You know, we miss Josko going forward on the left, but I'd rather have him at centre-back. I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with our defence at the minute. Even Nunes at right back. I mean, for your manager to come out and say in a press conference that you're not clever enough to play in midfield is a bit wild to me. But at least he's honest. He's probably said to him, listen, you're a fucking bozo in that midfield. You need to sack it. Now, you're a bit of a bozo at right back, but if you get this right, you could be a good right back. And I'll be honest, I thought he played well. Nunes.
I think I had to try and get that out of Alan yesterday because for me, our best players on the pitch are two fullbacks, and neither of them are actual fullbacks, which is mad. But no, I'm glad you mentioned Nunes. That's the thing. Nunes as well is actually very good at driving with the ball. When he finds space, and he was really calling, he knew the space he had, and he kept calling out for them to switch the ball quickly. And the minute he got the ball, he was just driving into the space. I think that's probably been one of my biggest frustrations this season. Is like even if we talk Grealish in a more central role, great at driving with the ball, and at times where I feel like our defence and the lack of a DM, we've needed to just drive with the ball and get the ball further up the pitch. And we haven't had the right players on the pitch to do so. So now Núñez was good. And this is a thing now where I've just saw someone in the comments talk about Núñez, whether he goes or not in the summer. And I have a feeling he won't, because do you know what? And I wouldn't be mad if we sold him. I'd actually, you know what? If we're bringing in the right players, I'd be happy to let him go. But I do think he's been one of the kind of the players that we have to thank for this season a little bit. That he's been playing out of position most of the season. He's just kept his head down and kept going.
Well,
and
look at the squad now. Well. Players aren't even making the bench. Like Oscar, Bob, and Reyes didn't even make the bench at weekend.
Yeah,
there's going to be some uncomfortable decisions made. I mean, the Kevin De Bruyne situation, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. Yeah. His wife was in the away end at weekend with his little boy, and a few of the lads were talking to her, and she said he don't want to leave. Don't want to leave. And that's what she said. And she was open and honest. The lad said, we just had a good chat with De Bruyne's missus. And she said he don't want to leave. He's gutted. Well, and then the interview comes out where he's basically saying that. And this is what I mean. It sort of tarnished it a little bit. I probably Aguero didn't want to leave. David Silva.
Well, Aguero got offered a contract, didn't he? Got offered a pay as you play. This is the thing. Just quickly, people, there's nearly 150 viewing here, only 64 likes. That's crap, to be honest. So people, please make sure you're hitting that like button. And if you're watching it on a playback, watch it. If you're watching it on playback on YouTube afterwards, then please make sure you're hitting the like button as well. This is a thing with the De Bruyne situation. I asked, because I've seen, I think it's one content creator called MCFC Galaxy. They put up a thing about all City fans come together and let's try and make City offer him a 2-year contract. And I asked them a question. I want your take on it. What exactly do we want? Do we want Manchester City to give Kevin De Bruyne a 2-year contract on the same wage he's currently on? Or
one minute, mate. I've got to answer this call. One second.
Yeah, go on. I'll speak to everyone in the chat about this as well. So, in fact, no, I am going to go back to Steve on that. Yeah, like I said, 80, that's better. We can get those likes up a little bit higher, people. 156 here. Yeah, see, this is the thing, what you're saying there. Offer KDB 100k a week and limited minutes. Right, so I see kind of people saying at the moment we're being a bit mean on him, a bit disrespectful to him. Would it not be disrespectful to offer our legends, yeah? Are you back, Steve?
Back.
Yeah, right, so this is what I'm trying to understand. He's on about 400k a week, apparently, 375, 400k a week. Would it not be disrespectful to ask him to drop to, someone said 100k a week, that would never happen, but would it not be disrespectful to ask him to drop his wage when he knows he could go abroad and get the same salary?
Yeah, I think the decision to let him go is probably correct because of the money he's on. And the thing is with City, they're letting him go on a free transfer. They didn't want any animosity with it.
Yeah.
He feels they've made a decision, and the decision is one that he probably doesn't like. But the decision's got to be made for the better of the club, because they might have identified Alberts or someone to come in on similar money, and with FFP, etc., probably can't keep him. And they probably feel like they would insult him if they said, look, we'll keep you for 1 year, but we're only going to give you 200 grand, not free. Whereas he could go to Saudi and get what he wants. But the fact is, he came out and said, I feel like I can do a job, indicates to me that he's touting himself out there. Now, I can see him staying in the Premier League now. And I feel like that would be a kick in the teeth, A, to the club, because the last thing they want is Kevin De Bruyne floating around the Premier League doing us damage.
Yeah,
and B, be a bit of a kick in the ball to the fans, because but if Liverpool turned around and said, we'll give you 350 grand a week on an 2-year deal, come and play for the Champions, but you're not going to play every week, but you know, you're in the Champions League, we could do with you.
Yeah, I hear that.
I think he goes. Newcastle.
Newcastle's one that really might. It wouldn't be as bad. I think United or Liverpool, that would stink.
He won't go United, but he could go to Liverpool, I think.
I think Chelsea keep being mentioned, but I don't think he'd go back to Chelsea. He wouldn't go back there.
For me, I don't see it. I see him going to America. I think once he gets his head round it, once he gets the love and that. I just said on my post yesterday, for me, the club might have a dispute with him. That's fine, but the fans love him, and we need to make a Bournemouth last game of the season massive Kevin De Bruyne event, and we need to make Fulham away Kevin De Bruyne Day for me. I think everyone needs to bring Belgian flags, Kevin De Bruyne shirts, and just needs to show him how much we fucking love him, for what he's done. But it is sad, and I don't know. I think if he just doesn't say anything and we accept it, I think everyone's fine with it. But it's because he said that interview, and you're like, fucking hell, this doesn't look right. This he sort of seems like he's been tucked in a room and gone, listen, just to let you know, we're not offering you a deal, but we appreciate everything. We're going to give you a shirt on the pitch on the last game of the season with your appearances on, and thanks for that. And then you're like, that's how it sort of makes you feel, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? I would agree. So this comment, this is one of the things that I worry about as well. That if Kevin De Bruyne stays, and let's be honest, right? I know that Kyle Walker and Kevin De Bruyne is an absolute, like, for me, between him and David Silva, greatest ever players I've seen in a City shirt. But so him and Walker are not quite the same. However, it is fair to say that for me, Walker is also a legend. Walker, that summer when we bought Bernardo, Edison and Walker, those three came in, and then the rest is history. So Walker was our club captain. I just worry that if we kept De Bruyne for another season, another 2 seasons, and his form really, really dropped off, which, let's be honest, his form this season compared to last season has dropped off a lot. If he had another season like that, there would be pockets of the fan base. I know it wouldn't be many of us, but there would be pockets of this fan base being disrespectful to him. And that's something I don't want to see. But I do agree with you, Steve. I think the club have managed it probably incorrectly. I've just been made redundant. And one of the things with me is the way they managed it, I felt was poor. That when I've been at a company for 17 years, the minimal amount of like every bit of communication I got was just a script. Right. And it's like, fucking hell, I've worked with you for 17 years. And that's what I get. And I think it probably is the same with De Bruyne if it could have been managed better. But I don't think him staying.
Anyone that's watched him this season, you can tell he's not the same player. We understand that. One game against Crystal Palace is not going to make us offer him a new deal. There's been plenty of games where he's not looked at the races. He's looked very, very slow, lethargic. It's the fact he's come out and said about the injury that he feels better. Okay, we get that. But there just comes a time when you've got to freshen it up. I mean, the Aguero situation was bad. I mean, Kun Aguero scores 2 on his last game against Everton like it was nothing. And then he walks off into the sunset, and we don't replace him for 2 years. Still won the league. But
at the same time, and I remember when Aguero went, everyone was saying we should have given him a new contract. It was disrespectful. Well, 6 months later, we found out it was the right thing. And this is the thing. I do believe that De Bruyne will be back at this club. I do believe that he will be back as an ambassador. I wonder if the way it's been sour with Kyle Walker. But just a quick one for you on Kyle Walker, Steve. Do you think he might be back to captains for the Club World Cup?
Well, maybe, but he's got to go for me, Kyle. I think 100%. He's up now, you know what I mean? Listen, don't forget, Kyle Walker asked for a loan in the middle of our season when we were fucking struggling. He was the captain of the club. We were losing games left, right, and centre. He got off to Milan on loan. So, he asked for that. So, that's like your captain just jumping out of your ship when you're going down. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, for me, he can't come back. He shouldn't come back. Kyle's gone. He's done. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Move on. But I think there's going to it's a big, big summer for a lot of football teams. Liverpool are going to strengthen because they're going to win the league. Newcastle's had a great season, going to strengthen. Villa are going to go again. Arsenal going to go again, need a striker. Tottenham are not going to put up with what they've done this season. Man United are not going to put up with what they've done this season. And this is just the Premier League. So, and then you've got Europe, European teams, Real Madrid are going to be fuming. Barcelona are there thereabouts. Bayern Munich, Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany could offer him a deal. Kevin De Bruyne. You know what I mean? You could go to Germany and say, look, you're just going to be here with me. And we're gonna tick it along nice for a bit. But listen, he can do a job for someone. If someone gets Kevin De Bruyne on a free transfer, I feel he can do a job for someone. But I just think the level that Manchester City are now, it is a correct decision.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you wholehearted. Let's get back to the Everton game. I do want to talk on Bernardo a little bit more, and we spoke on the De Bruyne thing. O'Reilly, I presume, really, really stood out to you. You've mentioned Vardy and Diaz. Just a quick one. Did you see the rumours on Kozanov?
Yeah, some Uzbekistan guy sent me the thing and said, this is the reason Pep's not playing him. I can't believe Pep's upset about this. I just started laughing. I said, come on, man. Someone's taking the absolute piss there.
Yeah,
you know
mate,
what I mean? Kozanov, the young kid who's done okay, but, they're all... You just, I don't know. I mean, Kuzanov's come in and he looks a good player, but there has been times where he's looked a bit mad. But he's just very young. I feel like Pep's just thinking, you know what, we've got a serious job to do at the end of the season. Can't really risk, blooding too many players in the squad. So he's just gone with the Núñez situation and the Rico Lewis situation, and Diaz and Guardiola have looked quite solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he did say, I think probably about a month ago, Pep said, Kuzanov's looked so good since he came in. We weren't the plan wasn't to kind of drop him straight in the deep end like this and play so many games, but because of injuries, he's had to.
I feel sorry for Reyes, because Reyes, every time he's played, has not put a foot wrong. He looks very cool and calm. I think he's the one to watch. I think, Akanji came back, which, what you get with Akanji, you know what I mean? He's a good player and he's steady. But there's got to be some decisions made at the back. Because you can't have Kozanov, Reyes, Akanji, Ake, Stones, Diaz, Gvardiol. You can't have 7 centre-backs. So what's going to happen there? John Stones, injury record. Is Pep going to cut his losses there? Nathan Ake is a little bit more reliable, but starting to get injuries now. Akanji again, getting up there. But I don't know. So I think there's going to be a big...
Juma Bar as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we do bring
Juma Bar is... a fucking beast, and like you say, he just looks so physically imposing, and I feel like he would give us an absolutely different dimension. So I don't know if he comes in. The kid from AC Milan there, Reinders or whatever, he looks a great player, but I don't know. I'm expecting a big summer. Hugo Viana's got to come in and hit this summer with a bang. It's got to be the Hugo Viana era. We've got to see it. We need them signings like where we all step back and go, fucking hell, City mean business.
And early doors as well. Early doors. I was saying yesterday, I have a feeling that Akanji might be, because I probably wouldn't of the three centre backs. I think we all love Stones, a cult hero, but I think of the three, the one that probably does make the most sense to get rid of would be John Stones because of his availability. But I think he'll be the most difficult to get rid of because of his wage and the fact that he's only got 1 year left on his contract. Ake, he can do a job on the left, but he's a lot more injury prone. I feel like with Akanji, there's probably more chance of getting a bit of money for him, maybe. He's a little bit younger. But then I was going to say, do you think there's a chance that Akanji might start on Tuesday on the right? Because that's the other thing. We kind of, at the moment, we're playing our options on the right are Rico or, although we both want to see Kuznetsov there, our options that Pep seems to go with is Rico or Núñez. Akanji's the other option that maybe Pep might go with him a little bit. But I don't know. I agree with you. We have to make some changes there. So on the transfer news, there's something that's worrying me a little bit. Someone that seems to be... I think he can see there's a City rebuild coming on. He can see that Viana's there. Mendes.
Oh, the agent?
Yeah. And
he's like a bad smell him. He'll be around. He's done it at Wolves and that. But
well, he's here again.
I think a lot of the Portuguese players are attached to him, aren't they? Once you get Ronaldo and that, he had Ronaldo, didn't he? I think he's still got Ronaldo, but they're all going to go with him. But I don't know.
Mustn't he? He must be absolutely.
Oh yeah. But Viana's City will have a database of players. Viana will have his own ideas. Viana's got to realise quick that, no disrespect, but Manchester City is a lot different than Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah.
Sporting Lisbon, we're getting players in, identifying players in to potentially sell them on. They get them in young and then they put them in Lisbon and they make 50, 60 million on them. City ain't that. We need ready-made 11 elite players. We need players that are going to be ready for the first team quick. Yeah. So I feel like, I've seen him twice now. He was at Everton, Viana. He was at Old Trafford. So he's in and around the boys. So
I read that apparently he liked to at Sporting. He likes to be at the training sessions and heavily getting involved. I think Pep will probably want him to do that as well, and probably everyone else at City, because he has to. I guess he has to try and build that relationship that Ticky's got, doesn't he? And the relationship with the manager. What's your take on one of the players that we're being linked with? And I think there's a bit of confusion, not only within our fan base, but probably also with rivals as well, is about Morgan Gibbs-White and what his role would be at City. What's your take on him?
I think he's a good player, I do. I think the market's very, very, very inflated at the minute. I think that's partly due to everybody buying big money players, Caicedo, Fernandes, Grealish, whatever. So they're going to want 100 million for him. Is he worth 100 million? I don't know. The thing is, what you've got to realise is a lot of these players that have a good season, like your Calvin Phillips, etc. It's all right standing out at Nottingham Forest. It's all right standing out at Leeds. You know, Matheus Cunha's a prime example, stands out like mad at Wolves. Yeah. Then you sign them, and then they just become average in your team. You know what I mean? So, is he anything special? Has he got the X factor? I think he's got a lot of energy. I think he knows the Premier League, but I don't know. I'll be very surprised if we go for him. I don't think we will.
Yeah. I think morning. So I see a lot of talk on this Radians guy. I think the one thing, this is a real thing with the transfer window, right? And this is whether it comes to players leaving, whether it comes to players coming in. There's so many other things we have to balance. Like the wages is something that is relevant. Like the Kevin De Bruyne situation, the amount of wages he's on. I do agree Grealish is on a lot of wages. So if Pep is not going to... Right, the amount Pep has decided to use Grealish this season, then it would make sense we need to try and shift Grealish for the wages. But also, there's another thing that we need to think about the balance of, and that is English quota. Because Grealish, if he goes English. Ake, if he goes English. I know he's not English, but English quota. Stones, if he goes English. Even Scott Carson, if he goes English. And I don't know if they're looking at Morgan Gibbs-White, and that might be the reason, because we do need to get our English quota up. Because even if we bring in academy players, they don't count, do they? Until that, I mean, Nico O'Reilly won't count at the moment because he's under 23.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You look around England at the minute, and I think that I do feel like the lack of English talent is there. You know, you've got like Bramthwaite at Everton, centre back, talking 75 million for him. I mean, is he worth 75 million? Not really. I look at him weekend, nothing special. You know, you look at Wharton in midfield for Palace, you know, talking 75 to 100 million for him. Is he really worth that?
I agree.
You know, I feel like we've probably got academy players that can step up. Divine Macassar and all them that are going to step in. But I don't know. They're going to have to sort it out. I think that the fact that Kevin De Bruyne's going, the fact that Bernardo's going, I feel like City will have got people lined up and are ready to pull the trigger quick. And if we can get them in for the World Club Cup,
I think they'll want
to. We need to. They're going to have to. I think it'll be a quick window for us.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, the Cambiasso thing, that looks promising. The fact they've already got a quote there. Someone just said, how's Ake English quota? Because he came through the Chelsea Academy, which then classes you as English quota. Homegrown, ultimately, is what it is. So yeah, I agree with you on the Wharton thing, because there'll be a lot of people that will really, really talk up Wharton, but then downplay Morgan Gibbs-White. And although I know Wharton is younger by probably 3 years. Probably, I would say. Wharton, for me, has not been competing at the top level. Morgan Gibbs-White, you can say this season has been competing at a top level and a higher level. So I'd probably have a bit more faith in Morgan Gibbs-White. But let me be clear, not as a 10. Not a chance in hell. And I was speaking to Wolfie, who's from Forest Fan TV, and he was saying some of Morgan Gibbs-White's best games for Nottingham Forest is when he's been pushed back into the 8 role. He said because for energy, he's got the energy, but as far as in the 10 role, especially where we are we've missed goals this season, he said he doesn't get enough goals. So question for you, Steve. Best game of the season so far?
You know, probably Newcastle at home. Other than that,
Palace second half.
Yeah, Palace second half, Newcastle at home. Everton, the result was good, but the performance wasn't bad. It was bad. I'd probably say Newcastle, Mamouche with the hat-trick and that, but other than that,
Yeah, it probably would be. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking hell, difficult one to be in. Right, so moving on. People, 240 of you in here. Likes only at 130. You've got to get them up higher, people. Please, please, please keep hitting that like button. Everyone here, every single one of you, if you just check if your like button is lit, and please give it a like. Also, remember to check out our sponsors on the side. Terrace Cult, a lot of new spring numbers up there. Get ready for Wembley. Right, big week for us, Steve. Huge week.
Yeah.
Probably biggest week of our season, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can beat Villa, I think it throws us right in the mix. Really, really good result. And then going on to Wembley for the semi-final, we've got to get behind the boys. I just want to mention the semi-final a bit because the ticket sales, I believe, are quite poor. There's a lot of City fans, I understand, that can't get to the games, they can't afford it, etc., etc. There's also a lot of City fans that do like to moan about these things. Well, there's your opportunity to go. You know, if you're thinking about maybe going, go, because it's Wembley. Take the kids, take the fucking your granddad, whatever you need to do. We've been out of Europe, so we've missed about 3 or 4 European aways, so you've saved a few quid there. And we need everyone behind us there. We need everyone behind us. You know what I mean? To get there. It's all right us moaning about tickets and prices and stuff like that. But then if these big blocks at Wembley that are empty, the club's just going to look and say, look, you know, you're not even backing us at Wembley. I know that's mad, but you know, Forest have sold out, Villa sold out, Palace have sold out.
Yeah,
City still got them on sale. So
yeah,
we do need the support there.
Yeah, I mean, well, you saw I put in the group. In fact, I messaged you as well. Said, see if you can grab me a ticket. Then I thought, let me just have a. Then I was going through my emails and saw an email from the club and thought, hold on a minute. Went on their website and was thinking, I ain't going to be able to get in the standing. Tickets there. I was absolutely shocked, and I'm pretty certain the tickets are a lot less than last season.
Yeah, they are. They are a bit less.
Yeah,
I mean. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I mean, the kickoff on the Sunday, that's
shit. That is shit.
It is shit.
Especially, it is frustrating when you look at, like, sometimes I do wonder if the Premier League and the FA actually consider logistics ever with this thing, because you've got fucking Villa and you've got Villa and Crystal Palace, where one club that literally are based in London, the other club that is closer to London than Manchester or Nottingham, probably same as Nottingham, to be fair, round about the same. And once again, Manchester City are given the fucking 4:30 Sunday kickoff, which I do get it. It's shit. Getting down there is shit. I think the trains are all right this time, but for now, who knows what happens.
It's a London marathon, same day.
It's a London marathon, yeah. It's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal, but yeah, it did shock me a little bit, and I think you're right. It's for everyone that says it's so difficult to get City tickets. Well, this is a game where get your City membership and get on the website and go and get your ticket and get down there. But yeah, Villa first. Do you expect much change? Oh, just a quick one on Forest. Did you know we played Forest? So last year we played Forest on Sunday, the 28th of April, and won 2-0. And this year we're playing them on Sunday, the 27th of April. Exactly a year on. So if anyone's into omens, that's a good omen.
That's what we need.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we'll do all right. I do. I feel like we'll do all right against Forest. I feel like they're coming down a little bit. That's why we need everyone behind us. You know what I mean? But we got to. It's a big game. We got to get to it. The Villa game is going to be hard. Villa are a good side. They got the tails up a little bit. You know what I mean? They battered Newcastle. They're going to come to the Etihad and put it on us. So we need to be ready. We need the big Erling back soon. I think we do need that man. But we're doing all right at the minute. We're scoring goals and winning games and looking a bit defence. I'd probably take a draw against Villa, I'll be honest.
Do you know what I said I said to LB before the Everton game, because he said it was a must win. And I said, for me, I would take 4 points off of Everton away and Villa at home. I said, I don't care which order it goes in, but 4 points against the 2, I'd be well chuffed with, because, I mean, it didn't help. Some of the results this weekend didn't go away. Chelsea coming from behind, Newcastle fucking up against Villa. It's made it difficult, but I do think if we beat Villa, and however good Villa looked, Villa do look like a different team away from home. They don't look the same, you know, their form this season at home, in fact, longer than this season. I think their form since January last year at home is sensational. But Villa are currently fighting for a Champions League place with us, which tells you if someone's form at home is that good and they're still, you know, I think they're 6th at the moment or 5th at the moment, it tells you their away form isn't as good. So I think we can do it. And I'm the same as you. The positives for me is the defence, Vardy and Diaz, and actually got to give a shout out to Nico Gonzalez as well. I think he's just been a bit of a Gareth Barry in there at the moment.
He's steady. He's very steady in that, and I think he can only get better. You know what I mean? Don't forget, we got Rodri coming back in there this pre-season, which will be massive. Oscar Bob adding to the team, so it's not looking bleak. You know, there's a few people. Grizz Khan on the Big Six was saying that he feels Man City are going to be miles off it. The rebuild's going to take a long time. I think that's wishful thinking for him. I think he's just trying to take the pressure off his own team, but I think City will be back next season. I really do.
Yeah. I think for me, it's you know, that Diaz has come under a lot of stick this season. Yesterday, someone telling me that they think that Diaz has been overhyped by the City fans. And I kind of was like, nah, because first season he was mint. He has dropped off, but I do think it's fair to say this season he hasn't really had partners, hasn't had a DM in front of him, really. And he's been the one that's probably, because a lot of players have been injured, so they can't take the smoke. So he's just been taking it. But I think now that he's got a partner and he's got a DM in front of him, then you throw Rodri back in front of him. I think all of a sudden that is a spine for you. I'm sorry, but Rodri with Diaz and Vardy behind him, that is one hell of a spine, and that's a physical midfield. That's a physical kind of spine as well. So I agree with you. I agree. Would you make any changes for the Villa game?
I probably wouldn't want to see Bernardo on the wing. You know what I mean? I'd probably want to go a little bit attacking because we're at home. Maybe just Doku in there to give him something to think about.
Yeah. But someone made a really good point yesterday. I think it's right. Something that really pissed me off against United is we usually pin United back, and without wingers, we couldn't pin them back. And I think against Villa, where they're so good down the wings, we really do need to try and ping them back. So whether that be Doku, Savinho, Grealish, maybe. Or even Bob. Does Bob get a nod on this one? Maybe. Doubt it if he was benched the other day. And the other one is De Bruyne. Would you start De Bruyne still? Or do you think maybe
I feel like City are going to start him now. I think they're going to start him. I don't know. It's a tough one, but Pep's the last couple of lineups that Pep's made, everyone's been like, "What's he doing?" And then you know we've not had bad results, so it's just a case
I agree with you.
Of seeing what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, 270 of you in here. Before we wrap up, please make sure you are smashing that like button. We have another show coming up tonight as well. Steve, do you want to tell them about it quickly?
Yeah, the 1894 on tonight, 6 o'clock. They're going to tell everyone about the protest plan for Villa and Wolves. Nothing too crazy, nothing too mental. All I will say is, though, that, you know, the feeling at the ground at Everton when I was talking about it to people is that people are right behind the protests. I know it can get a little bit frustrating when you think, oh, I don't want to miss 6 minutes of the game or 9 minutes of the game. But what we did in the last game when we protest really proved to a lot of people that it works. You know, that it was mentioned on TV in Abu Dhabi, so the Sheikh and people involved would have seen it. Match of the Day mentioned it, etc., etc. We got our price freeze and we got general admission freeze, which is fine. But the next one they're fighting for is the season tickets. Now, for me, it's an important issue. It's important for not just us. You know, if you've got a season ticket, you're fine. That doesn't mean like, oh, well, I don't have to protest because I'm all right. you don't have to protest if you don't want to. But what I'm saying is this is for the future generations of the fans to be able to get season tickets in the North Stand, etc. And it's a big one. So I feel like we've got to listen to what they said. You know, we have got a voice and a good voice in the 1894 and the lads that are doing the work, the food bank, etc. So, you know, it's not like we're Man United and we're protesting every week, and we have done for 20 years and nothing's been done. We did one protest, which was fantastic. 8, 9, 10,000 stayed on the concourse. Brilliant. And we just got to back them. It's a silent one at Villa at the main entrance, which is quite powerful because all the directors go in that main entrance. It just had a big group there with a banner. And then there was a bit of a sing-song and stuff, which the press got onto, which is fine. And then Wolves, I believe there's going to be 6 minutes on the concourse for the 6 years without any new season tickets. So listen to the lads at 1894 tonight at 6 o'clock. It is interesting. If you've got any questions for them or anything, or you know, you're frustrated with anything at the club, tonight's the night to get your questions in. They'll answer it. So that's 6 o'clock tonight. So set your alarms, people.
I actually saw something. Yes, I'll speak to you offline. I'm trying to think what it was. I saw something and thought, is that something to do with season tickets? Anyway, I'll speak to you offline about it. But just got one super chat as well. So that's 6 p.m. on here, people. We are 1894 group. I think they've got 3 people coming on. So yeah, make sure you are here. Got one super chat from when I see Sir Al, I wonder what he's going to say for a second there. Sir Alan Pet Mancini, top show boys. Love Alan as always. Right, so this is going to redirect over to Never a Foul. I've got a panel over there that are going to be trying to roast one another. I'm just going to be quiet because we ain't got nothing to say till later in the week. Everyone have a good day, and we'll see you at 6 p.m.